Right. Apart from that, should we get straight to the Hayden Deegan thing?
I think so. That's about the storyline of the night.
My thoughts. I was surprised that Deegan, in the switchback section, I was surprised that Deegan was running it in on Smith and squaring him off to that degree. But technically, that was fine, I guess, in hindsight, because
Yeah.
nothing happened. When the crash happened, that was Smith's
Oh,
mistake because
100%.
Deegan had the line.
Yep.
So actually, maybe there isn't so much to say because I feel like that is pretty cut and dry.
I mean, there is a little more. What's interesting is, I don't know if you saw, like, I brought, like, even go back to our photo albums. These two have been connecting for a couple weeks. Like, if you go type through our photos, there's them in the background of other people's shots, like almost kill shotting each other in corners. So something's been brewing for a little bit between these two. This is not all of a sudden last night was the first time they've made contact. However, it's a heat race. He's racing for best qualifying position for best gate choice. There are bonuses on the line for heat race. It's typically 5 grand in the 250 class. He's racing to win. Before that, was it some heavy cat and mouse? Was it maybe a little much with your teammate? Yeah, both of them participate in it. It is what it is. They're racers. They make choices. Not a big deal. The actual, like I said, separating that from what happened to Jordan, at the time they had their collision, Haiden was taking a race line and Jordan basically rode into the back of him. And then after that, Jordan imploded over and over.
Yeah, also that's worth mentioning. Um, Deegan's exchange with Smith was not the reason that he didn't qualify. Let's make that clear. So people trying to blame Deegan for Smith not qualifying is very incorrect. So that one is cut and dry. Um, I hear and I've seen comments and tweets. Apparently, this has been something that's brewing, and there is a little bit of Deegan Smith beef. I think more on Smith's side. I think he isn't stoked about the attention and the hype that is building with Hayden Deegan. I'm not sure how true this is, but apparently there was a vlog, a soundtrack, where Smith made a comment that if Hayden got in his way, then he would blow him off his bike or something like that. I don't know. Again,
Same.
very,
I read
very
the same
speculation.
comments. I don't watch all the vlogs, so I saw the same comment you're talking about.
Yeah, so that was honestly my first thought. My first thought was there has to be more to this. Um, but then does there? Because Smith does make dumb mistakes, and running it in on Deegan in that 90-degree turn was a dumb mistake. I'm sorry, and those people on Twitter are going to come back out of the woodwork. But that was just a dumb mistake. You don't do that. Everyone knows that. You could show that clip to someone who doesn't follow the sport, and they will go, "What was number 58 trying to do there?" And like
Yeah.
we don't know.
Well, it's just the poll, and we'll get to have a little clip from the press conference. It's just the polarizing nature that comes with Deegan's. People want to take a side. They instantly want to find a reason to go to war, whether it's for or against. Not saying right or wrong. People are just so. It's very hard for somehow for people to stand middle ground if it's involving Hayden in any way. It's either got to be he's in the right or he's in the wrong, and there's no if and or buts about it.
It truthfully, Deegan is here to stay. Deegan has arrived. I don't know if Jordan Smith doesn't like that. I don't know if Nate Thrasher likes that, but they need to get used to it because next year Deegan will be the number one guy on Star. He will be leading that team.
Yeah. How interesting is it though that Star has gone from the team that doesn't have, even though they win, I wouldn't say necessarily they have a lot of publicity around them. They've had riders that are a little bit drier at times, in personality. They've had just workhorses. They have, they've just, I don't know. There hasn't been like this huge amount of focus on the team outside of the results. And now you have a rider that's come in and basically, yeah, stolen the show. You have, especially after Craig and Fran, as Nichols moved on, you had this whole group of guys there that were all kind of in a position like, okay, I can be the guy here. I can step up and be the title guy for this team. I can be the face of the team. And then Deegan just comes in and crushes all that for all of them
Well,
instantly.
like we mentioned a lot, like Star were in a bit of a transitional phase,
Yep.
and they've now lucked in with their hotshot delivering immediately. This is where Pro Circuit lost their way because when they hit a bit of a transitional period, they needed their hotshot to deliver immediately, and their hotshots just kept getting injured. So that never happened and just prolonged the transitional period until it became a permanent situation. Um, anyway, what's your press conference thing you want to play me?
Let's see here. Just kind of on the fact of the polarizing, I want to get your thoughts on the way basically Hank had this, because I got to ask first for 250 press conference. So I went to ask basically Hayden his thoughts on it.
All right, Michael Lindsay.
Mike Lindsay, Valomex. Questions for Haiden Deegan. Congrats again on your second career podium. However, of course, going back to the storyline of the night is kind of you and Jordan in the heat race. Can you walk us through it from your perspective, and at the end of it, being able to review and look back on it? Does it still just fall as a racing incident for you, or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what happened. I wasn't paying attention really. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, it was good. It was good racing, it's fun. So I don't know. Yeah, I just had some fun doing it.
Did afterwards, get back to the hauler? Have you guys discussed it at all internally from a team standpoint? And was there anything from management that they pointed out, or was it pretty much, have you guys even gone to that point?
Yeah, it was all cool. It's just racing.
And that was it.
All right, Michael Lindsay.
Whoops.
I am. Cool, you really
Sorry,
like yourself, don't you? You really just want to deliver that again.
Playing again.
I fully agree with everything Haiden Deegan said. I think that it was just racing. If Smith wanted to get back to the hauler and be like, you cost me getting in the main event, then Deegan can literally turn around and go, no, I didn't. That was you. First of all, you shouldn't have run it in on me there. And then you were still in a transfer position and you lost your head. That's not on me. So yeah, I don't think there is. Deegan takes 0% of the blame.
Yeah.
Yes, the cat and mouse was a little bit much, but there was nothing there that crossed the line. Smith's rider IQ was not where it needed to be, and that cost him as it has in the past. Fact, case closed, Your Honour. I guess I'm now Team Deegan too. Not as much as you, though, with your press conference. Oh, congrats, Deegan, on your second podium once again. Jesus. Did you have your merch on at that point?
Says the most positive guy ever that no matter how bad something goes, you have to point out a success for the evening.
No, last week I was
Yes.
very critical. Very critical.
So one week automatically means that you've changed your stripes, that you're not Mr. You're literally always spieling to me about how positive you start things.
I think that is my interview strategy. I always start an interview with a positive, because then they relax, and then they, like our friend Jamie Guida tends to start with a negative, and I feel like that does not work.
So I start with a positive and suddenly I'm buying merch.
Well, I don't congratulate them ever. I just say I start with like.
Sorry. The congratulations was a step too far.
Yeah, it was. I honestly, well, that's also because I'm awkward. I don't know how to congratulate people. I'm trying to think what I said to Chase first. I think the first thing I said to Chase was, "See, this is what happens when I'm around." So actually,
that wasn't more self-centered than anything. Jesus.
Funny. I'm a funny
You're
guy.
not even buying the merch. You're fucking making it over there, man.
It's Lewis merch. Right?
Lewis merch with Chase associated.
No, it's all fun and games. Have you got something else for me?
Yes, I have the interaction that ended up getting Hunter's words, which I thought was quite interesting. So a little background. I got to ask first. I left it as neutral as possible. What's your perspective? Did the team say anything? Jamie Guida got to ask questions second. He asked one of Hunter. He asked a follow-up of Haiden, just talking about him not being intimidated by the guys he's racing. It was taken a little bit, I think, out of context, because there was a comment about Hunter there, and Haiden commented but was a little defensive, and then Jamie followed up and basically said, like, no, I'm like, giving you props for that, and he was stoked. And then it went one more. We couldn't get away from the Haiden conversation. David Iser decided to ask something that got a little bit accusatory. I think he's a bit of a Smith guy.
David Iser.
Thanks, Dan. Haiden, back to you. You have no regrets on that aggressive racing in a heat race with no points available and knocking your teammate out of a championship battle?
Yeah, I think he's in like fifth in points. He's a little out of it, but besides that, I mean, it was good. I don't know. I'm not sure. I wasn't really paying attention.
Well, a lot of people were, and that's the thing is we're just kind of wondering if you're saying you don't remember that it's a heat race. Were you present in that moment saying this doesn't matter for points and this is my teammate, or he was just another rider?
I mean, he's my teammate, but he's a veteran. He's been in the sport for a while, and I was just up there, battling. I want to win just as bad as everyone else, no matter if it's a heat race or main. I want to win, so just trying to push that.
And what was Bobby
touch
Reagan
on
doing?
this for 1 second? I think I just wanted to point something out, which kind of it amazes me. So much of the people on social media, where everyone puts their expertise in, say, oh, the racing back in the 90s, early 2000s, like where men were men. They always talk about how gnarly it was, and then anytime a block pass or something happens now, everyone cries about it. That's just kind of a bit interesting. It's either, pick one. You either want the gnarly block passes from 10 years ago, and then when you get it, everyone makes a big song and dance about it. So that's my perspective. I think it's a bit funny how that works.
I agree.
All right, my question was about teammates in a heat race when it comes to non-points paying and in a championship battle. That's kind of my reaction. If this was in a main event going for the win, I don't think there'd be this kind of reaction. I guess the big reaction from fans was a surprise of teammates getting to that point, especially for a heat race. Yeah. Hunter? Go ahead, Hunter.
Yeah, I didn't know you're talking to me. Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. Take what you want. Everyone's easy to point the finger. We're out there making decisions at split millisecond. People have all month to pay their phone bill and they still can't do that on time. So we're making decisions at such a fast reaction, adrenaline. And everyone, not just saying it for me or Haiden or speak for all the guys. No one's perfect, and we're under a microscope out there. So the media is really quick to point the finger when someone makes a mistake.
That was a bit like trying to make almost like a adult talking down to their child and saying, like, you did something wrong. I need you to recognize that. And I like his reply. I'll tell you what, I've gone back and forth on some of the things that Hunter has said, but he's won me over as well. Well done, everyone. What a top-notch replies from our sport. Look at us with some very intelligent riders up on the stage. And also, I think that it's possible. So what Hunter was saying is that everyone wants the 90s, but also they don't want 90s racing now. I think those two things are possible to live side by side, where people dream about the 90s, but still criticize what the riders do now because it's still not as good as the 90s. I don't think those two things can be completely separate. I think they actually do go hand in hand. It's not so that's my take on what Hunter said, which Hunter was right. People do need to check themselves. But I don't like that. And props to Deegan for handling it in the way he did.